Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me once again for another book review. I am glad you clicked on this video. So, we're going to just jump right on into it. Okay. This book is called Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry. Now, I do not have the physical copy of the book, so I will attach a picture of it to this video so you know what that looks like. Okay. I'm going to tell you straight off, I can't tell you too much about this book because I don't want to give away crucial information that would possibly be considered borderline spoiler. This is one of those where I don't want to pull a thread and just unravel this woven goodness because I want you to go read the book. Okay, read the book. There is going to be minimal information provided, but I'm going to provide you enough information to pique your interest to hopefully get you to go read the book for yourself. Okay? What I can tell you is that this story starts off with a vehicular accident in which a teenager dies. The families left behind have to pick up the pieces of their lives, and some don't fare so well with that. This accident has changed the lives of those involved, and we get taken on a twisty ride into their lives and how things led up to the disappearance of Isaac and all that follows afterwards. Okay. So there is a race to find Isaac within 14 days due to the belief a serial killer has struck again. Now, let me clue you in on the main characters of this craziness. Okay. There is Juliet, aka Jules, who is the mother to Gabe and wife to Shane. Jules was a counselor slash therapist, and life was going pretty well for her and her family. However, one fateful night changed all of that. Jules was driving the vehicle when the accident occurred, and Jules was not mentally stable afterwards, and her life was forever changed. So then there is Gabe, who is involved in the accident, which is Jules's son. Gabe didn't survive, and his death was the pinpoint of everything that kind of subsequently transpired. Gabe was an athlete and a scholar with a bright future ahead of him. And it seemed with all Gabe had going on for him, he wasn't exactly the most nicest guy towards his peers. I mean, he was that jock that everybody loved, and all the teachers loved him, and the peers, liked him, but he wasn't exactly nice to some of his peers. Then there is Amber, and she is the mother of Isaac and Katie and the wife to Mark. Amber and Mark were the typical protective and supportive parents. They loved their children and wanted the best for them. However, they turned a blind eye or were in denial about some things that cost them greatly. Isaac is the other person involved in the previously mentioned vehicular accident, and he seemed to be the typical teenager before the accident occurred, albeit he was a little awkward. Things started to spiral for him after the accident, and then Isaac goes missing. So these two families had what seemed like a year of high trauma to wade through. All I can say is buckle up for this ride because it's a good ride, it's a crazy ride, it's a twisty ride, and yes, you will be at the edge of your seat with anticipation. You will have some shocking moments, some heck no moments, Some tell me this is not what I think it is moments. And then you'll have some hope this isn't going where I think it is moments. And definitely some oh dang moments. So the author does a good job of keeping you connected and wanting to know how all of this unfolds. You will get to see an investigation occur, the inner workings of the parents' actions and thought process navigating through this period in their life. I would say that this story has a lot of high intensity moments. So, like I said, the story starts out with this accident that basically collides the two families on a trajectory that is heart-wrenching, it is crazy, it is emotional. Jules, after this incident, is not right. She's not right. Okay, she's definitely not right. And Isaac is not right either after this incident. In my opinion, I think Isaac has a bit of survivor's remorse. Jules has lost her child, so that in itself can be mentally breaking, emotionally breaking. And being a therapist or a counselor does not negate the fact that you have literally lost a child and will have to undoubtedly go through the grief process. And um, Jules does not handle that very well, even though she is a professional in the field of therapy and counseling. The investigation regarding Isaac being possibly kidnapped and possibly in the clutches of a serial killer definitely takes a toll on his parents and his sister. The sister is not mentioned very much in the story. Katie, she's almost like side character, which I kind of would have liked a little bit more of her involvement in the story, maybe just giving her inner thoughts about what was going on or what had transpired, but she literally is kind of like the side character. Amber and Mark, their thought process as parents. There were some things that could have been nipped in the bud, like in the beginning. Um, but obviously, different parents have different parenting styles and different views of what would and would not help their child in particular situations. Obviously, different parents have different boundaries and rules within their homes. So, I mean, you kind of question some of those things. This family definitely had some things to contend with. Like I said, I think I mentioned in a previous video that I have been like reading like crazy, and unfortunately, I took notes while reading the books, but I didn't like write out what I wanted to say about the book like immediately. So it's kind of like going back and thinking about, oh, yeah, what else can I say? What else can I tell without giving away the book? So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Oof, there is information, and I'm just like, that might be a thread I don't want to pull because then I'd have to explain a whole bunch of other stuff, which would then lead me to giving you too much of the book and too much information. Try not to do that. So, in a nutshell, these two families are having a very difficult time in their own respects, and there is some crazy things happening. Isaac is gone. And there is a race to find out where he is, if he is connected or in the clutches of this serial killer that has been on the loose with their shenanigans in the surrounding areas. There is the aspect of mental health and how the death of a loved one can skew your thought process and your behaviors. There are some warnings to give, and there is death described. There is a mental illness. There is an attempted suicide mentioned. There is what I would call predatory behavior towards a minor or inappropriate interaction and influence on a minor. The author didn't leave any discussion questions in the book. And I did read the physical copy of the book. I did have to return it to the library, so I don't have that with me, but I will attach a copy of what the cover looks like to this video. Some topics of discussion would be how one deals with traumatic experiences, how is survivor's remorse dealt with, at what point do you think mental health services are necessary after a traumatic experience? Does getting assistance early or later change or potentially change outcomes? Do you think side effects of medication can outweigh the benefits of the condition it is supposed to treat? As a parent, how much privacy do you give a minor and explain like your reasoning and scenarios of either spectrum? Does social media, gaming, and other forms of outside influence affect the perspectives a minor has about life, and what should parents do about limiting or combating that influence? Do you think runaway cases should be treated with the same vigor as a missing person or kidnapped person case? Do you think people are inherently violent, or is that a learned behavior? Well, these are just a few conversation topics to get that dialogue going. I am absolutely sure there could be a lot more discussed and a deeper dive in dissecting this story after you read it. As I said, I'm trying very hard not, not to give a whole bunch away. But those questions kind of gives you a little bit more hmm, about this story. So this book is categorized as a thriller, psychological thriller. I would say this story definitely has you turn the pages to find out how everything plays out. Like I said, there is some very intense moments. The suspense and twists and turns will have you all over the place, guessing as to who is involved, what is going on, who was right, who was wrong, what the outcome may be. I was hooked within, the first few pages, which is excellent when the author drives you in that fast. I didn't want to put the book down. If it had not been for life happening, I probably would have finished like by day two. But life happens, which draws out you being able to finish a book. I would definitely say the author did a good job of weaving a good twisty ride. Like I said, there were some very intense moments. There were some warnings, which I mentioned to consider before you pick this book up. And the book and the content of the story in itself can be a bit jarring to some. So, with all that being said, I do give this book a 9.5 out of 10. If you haven't read the book, I suggest you go get it, and then tell me what your thoughts are after you have read it. If you have already read the book, go ahead and comment your thoughts as well. Um, I do apologize. I couldn't tell you like a whole bunch more because there is a whole bunch more to this story. However, I just, it is good. It is a very good story, as you can see by my rating. I just did not want to give so much information that you would think it's not worth reading because I gave it all to you already. So it is a page turner for sure. Well, you'll just have to pick up the book and read it, okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not done so already, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, click like, share, tell your friends, come on over, take a look at all of the videos available for you because there are a bunch of them. And side note, some of my reviews, the books are turning into uh, movies and TV series. So, if you want to get a snapshot of what the book was about before you watch the movie or the TV show series, do so. Because sometimes, you look at a movie or a TV show and it's based upon a book and you're like, maybe I should have read that book first. Well, if you mosey on over to my videos, you probably will find some of them and you can get up to speed and enjoy the movie or TV show just a little bit better. So all of those that have subscribed, liked, shared, stuck around while I was MIA for a little while, I want to say I truly thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And I hope to provide you with some more book reviews so that you can add to your to be read list um, and have a good stack ready for this new year that is coming up. So until next time, that's all for this round. And keep turning the pages, my book lovers.